Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We've already, as you can see, we've already passed our 100,000. In fact, we've already passed 250,000. So we are on our journey to 500,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 1 million. Then they send me a gold one of these things. All right, subscribe, watch, comment. I want your comments, and please share with friends, because the chaos, it's not stopping. You see that. I mean, think about this. The other day, Elon Musk and his son, his toddler, were in the Oval Office taking questions from reporters. Now, I think it's important that we go over what Elon said. But first, I want to show you a clip of Jessica Tarlov saying that Elon Musk talks a big game about transparency, but there are things that the American people are just not seeing. Play the clip.
But the real issue here is that he's talking a big game about transparency, but he's not being transparent himself. This idea that Elon Musk shouldn't have to do financial disclosures like everybody else who's working in the government is ludicrous.
The New York Times, the Doge website.
Also, when you pull it up, it's empty right now. And President Trump said yesterday, oh, well, he doesn't need to do it. Caroline Levitt has said he doesn't need to do it. The New York Times is reporting that at least 11 of the federal agencies that they have gone after have open complaints, over 32 open complaints into Musk's businesses. Don't the American people deserve to know? He has tens of billions of dollars in government contracts. If you are the Doge master, then open up your own books. That's part of the federal government. They are spending money on Elon Musk and all this technology.
Yeah. You know what I like the most there? When the Fox reporter turned around and tries to push back on Jessica Tarlov and say, oh, it's there, it's there. No, it's not. It's blank. Jessica Tarlov is correct. All right. It's part of the talking points that really need to make your blood boil. Now, I want to also be clear about something, and this is where the chaos comes in. President of the United States can waive the requirement that Elon Musk disclose and sign any forms. That's the power of the presidency. It's really never been done before. Well, it was like when he gave Jared top secret clearance, despite the fact that the FBI said that he could not possibly pass the requirements. President has the right to do that, and so he did. Now, let's get into the clips from the presser. Elon ironically speaks about how Americans want their elected officials to be making the decisions. Not us, but the American people want their elected officials to be making the decisions. Well, Elon, last time I checked, I don't remember checking off any boxes for you because I don't believe that you were elected. Play the clip.
So if there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy.
Yeah. Again, nobody asked Elon Musk for a history lesson on American jurisprudence or the executive branch's power. Once again, last time I checked, he wasn't elected. And I'll tell you something on a personal note that saddens me. As I sit and I watch Trump sitting at that desk, I'm just wondering, what the hell is he doing? This is not the Donald Trump that I remember sitting there, letting somebody else take the control over the mantle. It is Donald Trump who is sitting behind the Resolute desk. It is Donald Trump who, by a plurality, won the election. And to have Elon Musk with his kid jumping up and down, if it's not on his shoulders, sticking his fingers into his ear or putting his fingers up his nose, he's sitting there hiding behind the Resolute desk. It's making a mockery of the office of the presidency and the president. And I have a real problem with that. Now, reporters turn around. Elon was asked about the millions and millions of dollars that supposedly went to Hamas for condoms, somewhere 50 million, 100 million, blah, blah, blah. Nobody even knows because it's just not true. Here's what he had to say. Play the clip.
And this is big numbers. Talking about $100 to $200 billion a year.
Sure.
Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
Mr. Musk, can you talk about?
Yeah, I liked Trump's expression when he was looking at the reporters, like, why are you asking such a question? Because Elon was wrong. It did not go to Gaza. It did not go to Hamas. It went for a totally different program. And I don't even believe that number is accurate, because that would be at 5 cents a condom, 1 billion condoms. And I'm not even sure if 1 billion condoms have ever actually been produced. Elon then says that we should question democracy. Imagine this. We should question democracy. Play the clip.
Democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, X, we would have to, if you sorry. I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have?
Yeah. It's 249 years old, pal. Longest standing democracy in history. He then goes on and he speaks about Doge being transparent, which of course matches up exactly the recent talking points of Caroline Levitt. And you know why they match up directly? Because the guy who wrote them is standing off to the left. He's camera left. That's Stephen Miller. Play the clip.
The White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, give me 5 minutes and Google. I'm pretty sure I'll tell you which are. Now, a reporter then asks Elon about some potential conflicts of interest he may have because of his federal contracts. Play that clip.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts when it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president I know has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watch that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this.
Let me go on to say that Elon also says that people are getting what they voted for. Now, I want to be clear about something. I agree with Elon 100% on that statement. We, the American people, as a whole, the voting public, are getting exactly what we voted for. Play the clip.
The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with him about that point. He's 100% correct. That is what democracy is about. But doesn't mean that there's not going to be damage created. They're tearing down government agencies. They're firing millions of federal workers. They're cutting programs like USAID. Seriously. Now, he did say much of this during the campaign trail. And for whatever reason, people chose Trump over Kamala Harris. And it doesn't stop with just Elon Musk. Take Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's been parroting the same talking points when asked about Doge's actions. It's incredible. Play the clip.
I completely agree with you, Sean. Elon Musk is giving our entire country an inside look at the actual fraud, waste, abuse that's been going on for decades. And Americans are cheering and cheering and cheering. Everyone did vote for this. This is exactly what we voted for. This is what we campaigned for. And this is what President Trump promised to the American people.
Okay, not everybody voted for this because not everybody voted for Trump. 77 million people voted for Trump. 75 plus million people voted for Kamala Harris. So let's not make it, what it isn't. A plurality of Americans voted for Trump. And yes, and I hate to say I agree with Marjorie, what she's saying in part. It's not as if there's not fraud, waste, and abuse in our government. We've all heard of the stories of the $10,000 screwdriver or the $25,000 toilet seat. Do I think that Doge makes sense? Maybe. We'll see. And that's why programs like this are important, because we will call this balls and strikes. And we're not here to play games. We're here to give you the facts, raw and unfiltered, but to give you the facts. In that way, come midterm elections, you know what needs to be done. And we'll build a community to ensure that what needs to be done gets done. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.